This week on the Analog Circle podcast, we have a blowout, an absolute blowout of Xbox information that will cover pretty much all the changes that have happened with the brand. Do you like physical copies of games but don't like not having gaming manuals to flip through? Well, I may have something that might pique your interest. A lot of Assassin's Creed rumors and truth have been revealed even when it comes down to the game's head director leaving. Oh, we got a lot of Assassin's Creed information to talk about. And PlayStation, oh, you sly devil, you. They tried to slip in DRM into the console quietly, but we will discuss. All of these stories can be found here and more in episode 183 of the Analog Circle podcast. I am your host, Keon Mitchell, and welcome to the show. Come on in, sit down, and relax, because we're gonna have a great conversation today. And if you're traveling, hopefully we can accompany you to your destination. Now, with that being said, if you want to be a part of listener feedback, you can do it two different ways. We have been on an absolute roll. Shout out to doggone Cody Clark, the Triple OG, and shout out to C-Jack for holding us down over there. I appreciate you, brother. And of course, shout out to you, the unbelievable listener. But if you do want to be a part of that show, you can do it two different ways. Like I said, you can either call in at 667-284-9057 and let your voice be heard, or you can email the show. And the email address is simply the Analog Circle podcast at gmail.com. So this week, oh, PlayStation, you in the hot seat, people. Oh, y'all are in the hot seat. DRM, you say. What is so crazy about this is the same thing that happened with Microsoft. Y'all remember back when, what was it, 2013, I believe it was, when they went up there on that stage and they talked about that 24-hour check-in? Woo! They never recovered. Oh, Xbox was, man, they was marked from that day forth. It was talks, in the background, people that were, behind the scenes, that said that Sony was going to do the same thing. They were going to tell people about the DRM, all of that stuff, pretty much what Xbox did. But once they saw what was going on with Xbox and they saw how people had actually reacted to that, oh, yeah, they said, no, we're not going to do it.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
They said, yeah, they have failed. And we refuse to go down in a fiery death, as it were, figuratively, of course, and try to follow what they did. Nope. We're going to get up on stage, and instead of doing all of that, guess what we're going to do? We're going to say, this is how you trade games. This is how you trade games. Physical, oh man, it was an amazing moment. Then you top that with the price point of $400, undercutting the Xbox One by $100, not having the camera inside of the box, all of that stuff. Oh, people got up on their feet and were so excited about this. People were fainting, passing out in the crowd. Oh, I can't believe they did this. Of course, I'm embellishing a little bit. I don't think nobody fainted, but it was a heck of a moment. But then you fast forward to today. Oh, man. And it looks like PlayStation has done something that they seemed to be 100% against in the past. Now, what I want to do, and, this story is still unraveling. There are a lot of different reports. A lot of different things that are being said. My question, of course, is always going to come back to the physical. After hearing all of this stuff, I'm sure all of us have heard pretty much the same kinds of stories, whether or not you're following YouTubers, whether you're actually looking up articles. I think we all have the information, and we'll talk about it as much as I possibly can because, again, nobody knows exactly what's going on. And I want to try to be as even across the board, not overreacting or anything like that. I truly want to tackle this and be as fair and none of that fear mongering, none of that fake outrage and all of that stuff. I'm not mad right now. Not at all. But I am going to ask the question. I know you saw it, but let me ask you guys officially. Are physical discs mounting a comeback? Because the thing that I have heard, again, it is various reports, but I will just specifically look into one article that I actually saw, and it came from VGC. And basically, and I want to summarize it, it was a long article. So I am going to look at it a little bit to try to get you guys just the bulletin points. You know, nothing too crazy, but pretty much it says, new theory says PS4 and PS5 30-day digital game timers are temporary to stop piracy, become permanent after 14 days. Now, this is the latest report that is happening. It says recent reports that new PS4 and PS5 digital game purchases have introduced apparent DRM requiring online activation after 30 days may not be as severe as once thought, according to new claims. So this actually was put into, what's the person's name? They actually tested this theory. Their name, because I want to give them their credit if I can find them. He was over on, Reddit? Okay, it says earlier this week, it was reported that the new version 13.20 update for PlayStation 5 console appeared to have also brought with it a form of digital rights management, or we know as DRM, in which digitally purchased games have to be verified. It says the theory tested by numerous YouTube channels was that any digital game purchased on or after a certain date appeared to have a 30-day timer applied, suggesting that if the player didn't play the game for 30 days, they would have to connect their console online to renew the license and reset the timer to 30 days again. So it was this guy, his name, and I got it now. He was from Reset Era, a Reset Era user. His name is Andshrew, spelled ANDSHREW. He said he has, and this is where the story gets very murky to me. So he said he has a jailbroken PlayStation 4. He tried this theory on the PlayStation 4. Granted, right there, that's a red flag for me because we're talking about the PlayStation 5. But he's using this as an example. So to sum it up and not get super long-winded with this story, he said that pretty much after the 14-day window was over, on the 15th day, you actually got, okay, in that 14-day period, you got a temporary license for the game. But after that 15th day or the 30-day mark, you would actually get the full license of the game. Basically meaning that this so-called system that is in place, again, this brother is talking about on the PS4. Don't know how this actually lines up with the PS5. Maybe he's saying that both are the same. I didn't get that part. But he's basically saying that this is to stop certain gamers or pirates from pretty much pirating the game. Not like stealing it. Well, yeah, stealing it. Because, in that 14-day period, the way that they were explaining it in the article is that you have, in that 14-day period, a time to actually return the game digitally. But after that 14 days is up, the game is now yours, which, as they explained it, made it seem like that's when the license, fully unlocks. And once it's completely unlocked, you don't have to log in every 30 days. You own the full license after that time frame. So let me just double check in the article just to make sure. It says, let's see. It says Reset Era user Andrew, who owns a jailbroken PlayStation 4, it said claiming that the timer is a one-time measure to avoid piracy. There we go. And that digital game purchases lose their timers and become permanent after a couple of weeks. So, yeah, I was correct as far as me looking at the article. So, yeah, after a couple of weeks, it becomes permanent. It's now your game. Seems like you're not supposed to have to but have to, I guess, boot the game up to after 30 days to be able to access the game again. Seems like once you got it past those couple of weeks, then the game is yours. It says by adding a new 30-day timer to the games by default, then changing it to an indefinite one after 14 days, this method is theoretically blocked because the user won't be able to extract an indefinite license until after the refund window has closed. So, yeah, it seems like this is actually being put in place to stop the piracy or people being able to steal the game, return it, maybe get their money back, then try to download it offline or something like that. So let me see. It says the new theory then is that all digital purchases of PS4 and PS5 games do now apply a 30-day license, but that it's only temporary. And after a period of at least 14 days, after the game can no longer be refunded, that license is then changed to an indefinite one, meaning players will no longer need to continually connect their console online to validate it. I just wanted to make sure that I read that again, just to be on the safe side. The last thing I want to do is give you guys false information and that I maybe thought I understood something, but I got it wrong. So, yeah, it seems like that is the case. Now, the thing is that Sony has not come out to say anything thus far. Do they need to? Should they? It would be nice. I think it would be nice for them to come in, not even come in, but just write up a statement, let everybody know what's going on. That way, everybody can be on the same page. We don't have to have these articles that are trying to figure out what Sony means with this DRM. How does it affect us? How does it affect our gaming library? What's going to be needed? If they come out and say something, boom, it's a done deal. But they won't do it or haven't done it yet. Of course, there's still time left. Sony might come out. I think they should again. Definitely talk about this. So they got time to come out and let people know what's going on, to put everybody's mind at ease, all of that stuff. But for me, my thing is, brothers, I want the digital. Now, I was reading something today. Xbox is actually going through a similar situation. Not quite this drastic, but it's similar in nature, which might kind of go against me asking you guys, do you think that physical discs are mounting a comeback? Now, the thing is, and I don't know if this has been talked about in the news or not, but Xbox is having a bit of a problem with their backwards compatibility when it comes to playing Xbox 360 games on the Xbox Series X. And the situation seems to be something where it's more of a online issue. They call it a handshake or something like that, where you have to have the two entities meet online to actually verify that you actually do own the game, to read the license. But in order for it to do that, it has to get access to that license online. And right now, for some reason, it's being reported. At one point, it was being said that certain Xbox 360 games weren't working on the Xbox Series X. But now it's been reports that have been coming out saying that it's everything. Nothing is working. And of course, Xbox is at it. They're trying to figure out the situation and things of that nature. But even with a physical game, and I got to shout out my good brother Crimson Phoenix, he gets on me about this. They said it's still a handshake issue, where even though you have the disc, it still needs to be verified online to tell if you actually own it or not. I say, God, man, we might be cooked. Oh, man. How the world do you get that on track? I don't know. Here it is. We have a situation where you actually own the physical game and you still can't play it. I don't even know. I guess, but see, now, here's the thing though. This is backwards compatibility. If you still have your Xbox 360 like I do, you can always pop that game in there and play it. Yeah, see, that's the problem with having to rely on these jokers right here for your retro play. Now, I get it. You get some bells and whistles and some nice stuff, some updates and upgrades, nice 60 frames per second, 1440p or whatever may have you. But it comes at a cost. It comes at a price. And what's the price? You got to rely on them to give you access to something that you already own. If you had the original console that it worked on, you might not have these problems. But that is the situation. If you still own that physical disc, you can still put that in your 360. You can still put that in your PlayStation 3, your Xbox One, your original Xbox, whatever may have you, your PlayStation 2, if you want to go that far back. I know I doggone sure ain't, but I'm just saying, retro gamers unite. And that is what leads me to the question again. In this climate that we're seeing this thing unfold in front of us. Again, our physical discs mounting a comeback. I'm going to tell you this. I understand that it could be a situation where, depending on what happens, that disc might not be useful, might be a paperweight. But it's always a chance that if you still have that original console, and you still have that original disc, it's a possibility that you would be able to play the game versus, and I'm trying to keep it in perspective because, again, these are all reports coming from this one particular person. I don't know if it's 100% true what he's saying. Like I said, that PlayStation 4 situation, a little sketchy to me. I need to know what's going on with the PS5 itself, in order to get a full understanding of what's going on. But, just putting that out there like that, I look at it again as, but if you have the disc, you got a chance. They could wipe the digital store. That game may never exist again on the digital storefront. Might be gone for good. And this isn't far-fetched. We've seen this many, many times. Licensing is a big issue. That's like the biggest issue. And if they want to renew it, shout out to Cody Clark for giving a great example on listener feedback about Warhammer Online. So it's, to me, I would say the physical disc, I think it will. I think it's going to mount a comeback. I think that people are going to feel good. Like I mentioned, Tommy Boy, it's on the box. The disc is in the box. And I can touch it. I can feel it. It's looking at me and it's saying, I'll make everything all better because I'm here. So, yeah, I think so. I hope it happens. I am praying that these next-gen consoles do not have a disc drive. I said that all wrong. A disc drive on them. PlayStation 5, PlayStation think they're slick with the PlayStation 5 Pro. I know that is a test bed. I know that PlayStation 5 Pro was a test bed of, hey, look, if we charge this much more and we don't have a disc drive, how many people are going to buy it? Yeah, we'll keep the disc drive separate, but let's try to kind of ease them into this all digital gaming future. Of course, this is not me saying the sky's falling or anything like that. Forget all of that fear mongering and the fake outrage. None of that stuff. At the end of the day, this is gaming. This is a hobby. This is a thing that we love. And don't get me wrong, it is money that is involved. For some people, thousands of dollars that are involved in this. But I'm not trying to blow this thing out of proportion. It's gaming. And I do believe that, again, man, it's nothing like that physical disc. I can't get past that. So I think it's going to mount a comeback. I'm hoping that this all digital future, hopefully this will kind of put the brakes, at least slow it down a little bit more, because I've never been a fan of just all digital. You don't own it. You can't even resell it. At least now, even if you want to get technical and say, well, you don't own the game, I get it. But I can sell it, though. I can sell it, and as long as the servers are up, we're in this generation. Who knows what will happen 2 or 3 generations from now with that same disc. But for now, that disc actually has value. Versus an all-digital copy, it's worth $0 because you can't sell it. But that's just me. I want to get you guys' thoughts on this. As always, I look forward to hearing from you guys. And let me ask you this. Are you for an all-digital future as well? Is that something that you're like, man, I could care less about the disc. Doesn't really bother me too much. So I want to know both sides. Are physical discs mounting a comeback, or are you on the side of digital only? I can't wait to hear from you. Call in 667-284-9057 and talk to me, or email the show, the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. So with that being said, man, we are about to have a long show today because a lot has transpired. And I'm going to tell y'all this is going to be a heavy Xbox show. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to promise you this. I will have a minute marker in the description of when the Xbox news is over, because it's a lot. And some of y'all might want to hear some of it, but you might be like, I want to come back. Because we got about 6 stories to cover worth of Xbox news. I know I've been on an Xbox high. I know I have. I know I have been enjoying what the world Asha for the people Sharma has done. But before we get into that, though, I want to start this off with the, of course, written, unwrittens that I have this week. It was so many I couldn't write them all. But let's get things started with an Xbox article. Okay, it's from PureXbox.com. It says, Asha Sharma says Xbox is investing to make Series XS console a first-class experience again. Oh, this gets me so excited. Let's get into this article. Here we go. Let me pull it up. Right now. Here it is. It says, I want to get to the quote. It says, we have formed a team and we're investing in console features. This is a quote, Asha Sharma. We have formed a team and we're investing in console features. We are standing up the muscle to make sure that all of our performance and reliability and quality is great. That's what we need. Says we are investing in it as a first-class experience again. And we want to make sure that all the players who want to be on Gen 9 is next generation, are on Gen 9 with a great console with regular updates. She continues, I think the Gen 9 is a great piece of hardware. Oh, man, that Helix. And we want to make sure that gameplay and the platform experience is excellent. We know we just haven't invested as much there. No, she says, let me read that again. We know we just haven't invested as much there, and so we're getting back to that. Let me read that again. God dog, man. Hold on. Let me run that back.
Move this man.
Man, wait a minute. I'm gonna get it back. Hold on. It says, I think that the Gen 9 is a great piece of hardware, and we want to make sure that gameplay and the platform experience is excellent. We know we haven't invested as much there, and so we're getting back to that. I love this message. I love it. I absolutely love this right here. She is saying we got to get the quality back. We have to make sure that we are giving the player that goes out there and buys our console their money's worth. We want to make sure that we have the quality. We want to make sure that once this person is on Gen 9, they are on Gen 9 with a great console with regular updates. This is such a great moment. It seemed like it's been mediocrity over there with the Xbox brand for way too long. And with her coming out here again, man, she just saying all of the right stuff and whatnot. I want it to be true. And we're going to get into some more things that Asha said, which makes me believe. I'm a believer that she's gonna make these, how can I say, I'm not going to say promises, but what she's saying, she makes me believe that she's really going to try and make it happen. If you can just get the quality, the games, the hardware in a place where it needs to be, make it easier for third party to develop on your console, I think that they have a chance. And it's something that she mentioned in an article that gives me a lot of hope that she's trying to make the Xbox brand a very, very accessible brand to all gamers. I'm just very, very excited about the direction of Xbox right now. Talking about the next gen consoles, and they want the quality, all of that good stuff. Of course, we're going to have to wait and see what happens. But I think this young lady is off to a good start. Now, I want to get into another unwritten here. Let me see. What is this one? Let me see. Nah, we're not going to read that one yet. Oh, yeah, Valve. Shout out to UC Jack. My God. This guy got me talking about PC. This is just ridiculous. Y'all know we don't even talk about PC over here. But my good brother C-Jack, I'm going to make this quick. Handheld gaming is really becoming a big thing. I'm not a handheld gamer at all. It's not really for me. But just because it's not for me doesn't mean that it's not a market of millions upon 20s of tens of millions of people that are interested in it. But it's saying that Valve is working on their Steam Deck 2. We'll get some information on that a little later. I find that interesting that they're working on that and they're supposed to be working on their console. I don't know. I don't know about this, but let me just quickly read the article. It says, now this is actually from a person that is actually working on the Steam Deck 2. His name is Pierre Loup. Griffaris. It's spelled Grifffaris. Griffaris. I know I said that brother's name wrong. Pardon me there, brother. But he says, quote, we're working hard on it. And of course, at every stage, if you look at our hardware projects over the years, you can draw a direct line between the original Steam controller, the Steam machine, the Steam Deck, and everything we're announcing and will release this year. We believe the Steam Deck 2 will follow the same path and that most of our current developments will allow us to gain experience. End of quote. So yeah, they're working on this. We'll see what happens in the end. Of course, we'll have to wait and see. But let's go ahead and let's get into the next written, unwritten I have here. It's about Resident Evil. Yeah, it says Resident Evil Requiem producer says players should try to beat the game by next week to prepare for the DLC. Let me see if I can find this quote. He says, now this is from, this is Nakashini. He actually confirmed that the upcoming mini game will only be playable if the main story is completed, with Kumazawa suggesting that players try to beat the game during Japan's Golden Week holiday period between April 29th through May 6th. It looks like from there they'll be ready in time for the mini game's release. But the quote is, regarding the additional story DLC, all I can say at this stage is that it's currently in full production. So please look forward to it. However, development on the mini game is already in its final stages. End of quote. So yeah, make sure that you beat the game, Resident Evil 9 Requiem, so that you can play this mini game, because if you don't, it will not be accessible to you. Let me see what else I have here. They were talking about the PlayStation 6. Oh, man, people were going crazy earlier this week when PlayStation 5, if I'm not mistaken, who was it, Codemasters? They actually had a game running with path tracing on the PlayStation 5 Pro. I was like, God, dog. Let me see, what was the name of the game? I'm going to try to find it. Here it says Codemasters managed to get a path traced game running on PlayStation 5 Pro at 30 frames per second with some computational headroom to boot. So yeah, let me see, what game was it though? It says it was F1 25. So they're saying now that with that, man, now this is actually pretty impressive. Now I got to be honest. What is path tracing to begin with? I don't know what the heck it is necessarily, so let's look up what the definition of it is. What is path tracing? Because I don't know.
The holy grail of game lighting, path tracing is essentially the most advanced form of ray tracing.
Woo!
While standard ray tracing might only simulate a few light bounces for specific effects like reflections or shadows, path tracing simulates the way light behaves in the real world by tracing a path from the camera back to every light source. It accounts for every light interaction in a scene: reflections, refractions, and global illumination. How light bounces off a red wall and makes the floor look slightly pink. Why is it so demanding? The reason we haven't seen this in every game until recently is the sheer math involved.
Ooh.
In a standard scene, 1. The GPU must calculate millions of paths for every single frame. 2. Each path might bounce dozens of times before hitting a light source. 3. If the math isn't perfect, the image looks noisy or grainy, requiring heavy AI denoisers like DLSS or FSR to clean it up.
They said the whole... Whoo! That is a heck. And I do mean that is a heck of an achievement. God, dog. Wow. That Joker said the holy grail of game lighting. Whoo! Millions of calculations. Millions of paths for every single frame. Yeah, that's doggone impressive. So it ran that at 30 frames per second. And people tried to joke it. Dan, it was running path tracing, but it was at 30. You peasant, you. Man, you got to be kidding me. Originally, I mean, look, we can't go off of today's price. You know, yesterday's price is not today's price. I understand that. But you're talking about a console that was originally $700 before it got the $900 bump. And they're a $200 bump, pardon me, to $900. But you're talking about a console that is far, far cheaper than a PC actually doing this at 30 frames per second. And if I wasn't mistaken, didn't it say that it still had a little bit of headroom left? I mean, let me bring this back up again. Oh, dude. It says, with some computational headroom to boot. Now, I'm be honest, I would just leave it there, man. Listen, this is impressive. I don't care what anybody is saying. There's so many people out there that just want to not give certain things its credit. This generation with the PlayStation 5 Pro has been immense. It has been amazing. It has been sensational because it is a real difference that we're seeing with these games. Not like the PlayStation 4 Pro, where mostly people said that was only good for the PlayStation VR. That was where it shined the most. Versus this console, you are getting all kind of benefits. It is quite impressive. And just off of that alone, I am sure that when it does release, which it might not be next year, but we'll probably get there and talk about that. It's going to do amazing things. The article is WCCF Tech that I did get this from. I got to give them their credit. But yeah, they're saying that the PlayStation 6 could run path tracing at 60 frames per second as RDNA 5 was built for it. But mandatory handheld support threatens to hold it back. Oh, shucks. Oh, man, don't have a Series S situation. We're not going to go into all of that because it's a long article, and I'm trying to get you guys out of here in a decent amount of time. But again, it's over on WCCF Tech. Just type in PlayStation 6 path tracing at 60 frames per second. I'm sure it'll bring up the article, and you can actually read more of it, in your own time at your own leisure. But let me see, what else did I want to cover before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show? Yeah, that's it right now. That is it right now for the written, unwritten section of the podcast. But let's go ahead. And I guess we didn't already got into it, but let's officially get into what we all come here for, and that is the gaming news that went down. And like I told y'all, I gave you a warning in the beginning. We're about to get Xbox heavy this week. So let's go ahead and let's start with an article that I got from CBR. Oh, I am very excited about this one. So Fable is a highly anticipated game for me. Now, because I've done a little research and discovered something that is called the living population, it really has me excited, man. After I was reading this article, found out about this living population, I said, man, this might be a very highly anticipated game. But let me get into some of the details. So now it's being reported that Fable will feature over 1,000 characters that will have their own beliefs and personalities, and you'll be able to interact with them so much so where you will be able to recruit them to work your business. You can actually hire people to help you to better your business affairs, or you can treat them cruel and have the relationship go south. The choice is yours. Now, keep that in mind as we get a little bit further into this living population situation. Now, you'll be able to make friendships or rivalries. And the longer you interact with those NPCs, you'll start to pick up their traits, which the game calls back to a little bit later. And no matter where you are in the story, this is the part that really got me a little excited. You'll be able to interact with every single NPC. Now, this is when my imagination kind of took over. So I was looking around, doing a little bit of research on this, and you start off as a kid. I wondered. I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking, and of course, we gotta, I gotta be a little realistic here. I don't know if it's gonna happen. I don't want this to be like a Peter Molyneux situation where, man, the tree was started out as a seed and 42 years later, it's going to blossom into an amazing rose bush or whatever the heck the case may be. I know I said tree, but I'm just saying as an example, this tree is going to grow into an apple tree orchard. You'll be able to pick the apples off of the tree. It's going to be amazing. I'm not trying to go that far, but I'm going to tell you, with today's technology, I would be lying to you if I didn't think some of those things. I said, I wonder if, as a kid, you're doing all kind of crazy stuff. They say you can kick the chicken and all of this type of situations around. And I was just thinking, what if you did something to an adult as a kid and they remembered you when you grew up, and all of a sudden now y'all got real beef with one another? You're a grown person now. They're like, man, I couldn't stand that mother lover as a kid. He was bad. He was always trying to steal stuff from me. I got a real problem with him. He's big now, so I can actually throw hands with him. I always wonder, will these relationships, because they put an emphasis on the relationships that you can have in this world with these NPCs. So I'm just sitting there wondering, what are going to be the boundaries? What's going to happen with that? As a kid and growing up into an adult, what kind of things are you going to be able to do to affect what happens a little bit later? But let me continue on with the article. I was just thinking about that. So, like I said, you'll be able to make the friendships or the rivalries, things of that nature. But the game has also done away with the morality system and instead put in its place a characteristic system based on the player's choices, which really gets me excited, and based on your choices and traits, missions could play out differently. And they actually gave an example. Like if you donate to a charity, you could be known as a rich man around the town, but not all players may have the same reaction. One may do philanthropy work. Let's say you have your character and, you become rich. Your character becomes rich in the world of Fable. You got millions upon millions of dollars. You're walking in the street, handing out money. Everybody's, oh my gosh, he's so amazing. This is incredible. Oh man, we love you. Thank you for the pence, for the pences. We appreciate you. And then you may have a situation where you ain't doing philanthropy work. You out here, keeping your money to yourself, watching people starve, watching people's houses, half burnt down to the ground. Maybe you could help. But you say, nah, I don't want to do so. Look, listen, I pretty much dug myself out of the trenches. I think you need to do the same. I'm going to keep my money to myself, and I'm going to keep it pushing. Maybe that could be a situation. Then the NPCs could look at you differently. It could breed maybe a little bit of a rivalry that they talked about. Maybe you might make some enemies. People might want to see you get gone. Yeah, they want to take you up out of here. It's just those kinds of things that get me more excited about the game, where it's not just about the adventure. It's about the intricacies of how will your choices actually affect the game? What's surrounding the game, the environment, the NPCs? How will you be looked at? What are some of the ramifications of your actions that will happen? Will there start being small mobs of people that actually are trying to really take your character out? Now, again, my imagination, it could be running rapid, and none of this is going to happen. But all I know in my mind is they said that your decisions will have an effect on the world. And since it's not a morality system, but it's just based off of characteristics that, and player choice, how is that going to affect the world around you? And with Asha Sharma, man, not even Asha Sharma, with those guys over there, Playground Games, working on this, and this being, this would be their first debut of a game outside of Forza. Man, I am very, very, very excited about this, to see what these guys will actually be able to bring to the table. And again, we won't have to wait that long. The game is still releasing this year, and I can't wait to see what happens with those NPCs, the story, all of that stuff. I think you're going to be fighting giants. We saw the giant in the trailer. So man, I'm just so interested in what the story will be. Can you make the giant, or how can I say, can you maybe bribe the giant into being your friend? Maybe doing some of your own bidding for your own, how can I say, maybe for your own benefit. Maybe go out there, scare people with them to get money, out of the regular people. I don't know. You'll be running a business. It's just so many things with this game that have me so excited. And I'm sure we're going to see something this June. I'm sure we're going to see some kind of a, how can I say, footage of the game. I'm just excited, man. Listen, it's already at 48 minutes. My gosh, I think we're going to be here for like 2 hours. But we got more Xbox news to cover. I'm going to try to speed it up a little bit. So this next story I got from GameSpot. So continuing on with more Xbox news. We all understand that at this point, Call of Duty will no longer be available in Game Pass day and date. But according to PC Gamer, Activision is actually looking at bringing older legacy Call of Duty games into the service this year. Because as it stands, there are only, and did y'all know this? I just found this out when I was actually reading this article. There are only 6 Call of Duties in the service right now. So that's a massive gap of titles missing. Especially when you think about the fact that Call of Duty 2, which released on Xbox 360 back in 2005, you're talking about what? Over 20 years of Call of Duty? They could all be in the service together. That is massive. Now, whether or not it actually happens this year, that's to be determined, but that's at least what PC Gamer is actually reporting. So that would be a big announcement. Again, I'm not a Call of Duty fan. I kind of fell out of Call of Duty quite a while ago, but that doesn't mean that other people aren't excited about it, which you should be. You should be excited about the games that you love or that you like or that you prefer. And I know that some people will prefer Call of Duty as one of those games to go to. And just to have the whole bevy, the whole collection of Call of Duty games being under one roof, under one service, that could be a big deal. But we'll see if it happens or not. Let's get into the next story that I got, of course, from The Verge. So, back in 2022, under Phil Spencer's leadership, y'all all know about Phil. God dog. That brother right there. He blew up the Xbox brand, dynamite in hand. But he did come out of it with Activision. He came out of it with Bethesda. And again, Phil Spencer would always show up to E3 season. So I got to give him his props on that. But let's get back to the article, though. So back in 2022, under Phil Spencer's leadership, the Xbox brand was it was put so far in the back seat that they started naming the gaming division Microsoft Gaming, basically leaving no trace of Xbox being affiliated with gaming underneath their umbrella. But now, now, you fast forward to present day, underneath Asha for the People Sharma, her leadership, she banished, listen to me, she banished that name. That Xbox, not Xbox, pardon me, that Microsoft Gaming, that's off the table. And now she has renamed it Xbox. Xbox. Sharma said, and I quote, "To achieve our master plan, the way we work must transform our best. Must transform. Our best work happens when the full stack moves together. Microsoft Gaming describes our structure, but it does not describe our ambition. So we are going back to where we started and changing our team's name. We are Xbox." Come on, Archer. Come on. End of quote. Man, I love it. She also told employees that, quote, "Xbox needs to be our identity." End of quote. Now, she is also putting a priority on 4 core things. It's going to be hardware, experience, content, and service. I'm telling you, listen, this is a big move. This should not be just thrown away with, a name change. Whoop-de-whoop. It means absolutely nothing. A big nothing burger. I say nah, not at all. Her showing that Xbox, she wants Xbox front and center. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, the Microsoft gaming thing. Yeah, that's cool. That's all nice and well. But that doesn't describe where we're going. Yeah, that's the structure, but that's not our ambition. We are Xbox. Forget all of that other stuff. We are Xbox. End of story. It's not, this is an Xbox, that's an Xbox, PC is an Xbox, your phone is an Xbox. No. We are Xbox. I really, really love, let me tell you something. As a fan, man, I tell you, my green might be showing. It might be showing a little bit these days. It might be. Because I was always an Xbox fan. I just couldn't stand around there and put up with the mess that was going on under the old regime. I'm like, nah, this isn't even the Xbox that I once rocked with. This ain't the doggone Xbox I know. Heck no, I'm going over to PlayStation 5 full time. I'm not even going to buy your console because you don't care about it. You don't care about me as a customer. You giving all of the love to PC. They getting exclusives. They're getting cheaper Game Pass. Now, don't get me wrong. Well, C-Jack, I think he told me if you want the ultimate, it's the same price over on PC as well. So maybe it's a little different. But, whatever the case may be, they were just showing way more love to the PC. And I said, man, I'm not dealing with this. PlayStation, I rock with y'all. Y'all have the best games. Y'all have an awesome platform. Y'all believe in exclusives. And don't get me wrong, PlayStation starts slipping and sliding a little bit too, putting their games over on PC, but it looks like they're back on regular footing right now. And I like what I'm seeing. So I'm still sticking with PlayStation. I definitely am. I'm not leaving that brand. But y'all know me though. Y'all know me. I don't have any loyalty to any of these mother lovers. Not at all. Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, or Xbox, I don't know. I got loyalty to me, to the things that I like, to what my pockets deem worthy of my money. And you got to earn my money, doggone it. I'm cheap. I am cheap. So you got to earn my dollars. I'm not just going to stand, just by, just sitting there and watching all of this stuff go down and be like, okay, oh, well, got to go with the plan. It is what it is. It's the brand that I love. No, bump that. No way. Phil Spencer wasn't doing things I liked. Sarah Bond wasn't doing things I liked. The games weren't coming out nearly as good as what PlayStation had going on. Whew, PlayStation is still dangerous. Oh, they real quiet right now. This DRM is kicking them in the shins. They getting kicked in the back. Man, oh man. But I'm going to tell you something though. I saw some new footage of Wolverine. Y'all saw it too. And that Wolverine got dog, man. Got dog. Oh, that game looks serious. Yeah, that game looks serious, man. He stabbed the Joker in the face with the claws. I said, God, dog, y'all need to check that out. If y'all haven't seen that footage, it was over on Instagram. Go under Insomniac Games. They gave like a 2-second clip of it. Oh, man, I said, yeah, y'all got it. Yeah, y'all still the kings. But the thing is, with Xbox, like I said, I've always been a fan. I've always enjoyed the brand, loved the brand. But when you're not doing something or things that I don't necessarily agree with, when you're doing things like that, I can't support you. I'm not going to get out there in the streets talking about, oh, man, we need to ban Xbox or not. Man, I'm not doing none of that. I mean, listen, you're going in a different direction. Okay, I get it. Well, this is where I jump off the train, and I shall not return until, in my eyes, you get the train back on the track. And that's about it. So right now, it looks like under Asha Sharma, she's saying all of the right things. She's putting Xbox back at the forefront. She's going to be putting the resources. She's going to be putting the quality, the content, the services at the forefront. Pricing, which we will go over in a bit, at the forefront. We're seeing it. We see the effort. And that's the thing that's so exciting about this. It's the effort. And it's not just, how can I say, it's just not empty promises. You actually see her putting in the work, doing what she said she's going to do, and you actually see it being implemented piece by piece. So I'm just very, very appreciative to see it. At the end of the day, for me, it's all about competition. It's about all of these companies vying for our dollars, wanting, doing what they need to do to get our attention, not doing half measures, but fully being committed, giving us things that we want to spend our money on. So I just appreciate what she's doing so far, and I hope that she can keep this train going and continue with the We Are Xbox trend. And I'll tell you this much. This was something that came out earlier today. Asha's going so hard on drilling this into employees over there at Xbox. She made them change their emails. Their emails are at Xbox such and such right now. I said, God dog, chum, you about to run a real camp over there. Good thanks. Man, line up in formation. Good grief. But we still got some more Xbox news here, God dog. So I got this next story from GameSpot, but oh man, shout out to Mike J for this though. This brother sent this to me, Mike J. Oh man, I was so excited with this brother. Man, so it was an article about Asha for the people. Sharma, you know, I'm gonna keep on saying that doggone it. Stating that, quote, Xbox will be built to be affordable, personal, and open. We will offer flexible pricing so it's easy to get started and keep playing. End of quote. Says, but well, hold on. Before I go any further, that's the thing. That's the thing. And C-Jack, if you are still listening, my brother, at this hour mark, you remember we had the conversation on listener feedback where it was about pricing. And I said, man, I think that Asha is going to try to keep things as accessible as possible. If she's already cutting the price on Xbox Game Pass, she's obviously aware that in order to get customers, in order to get traction, you have to have a very, very good price point. And when she said this again in this GameSpot article, again, I'm going to read it one more time. She said, Xbox will be built to be affordable. That right there makes me feel awesome. Now, granted, we know that right now, as it stands, that Project Helix, woo-wee, that joker look like it is going to break the bank at $1,200.
Show me the money.
Hey. Man, $1,200. I don't know, Asha, if you can get that price down just a little bit for your guy. It would be very, very much so appreciated. But again, I believe that she's going to do it. She's going to make it affordable, personal, and open. Now, personal, I'm taking it that maybe that has to do with the dashboard, because we heard that there are certain updates that are happening behind the scenes where you'll be able to customize your actual dashboard. Now, remember, back in the 360 days, they tried to put just kind of put an emphasis on that. So much so they were talking about even having customizable. It never happened, but, actually having customizable pieces inside of maybe a skateboard game with your logo or certain clothes with a logo on it to personalize it to you. Even though it was a dope concept, never happened. But hopefully Asha, in this day and age, she can actually bring that personal touch to the Xbox console. So I'm hoping for that. Now, the keep playing, to get started and keep playing, I think that has to do with the price of Game Pass. Once you get it, you'll be able to continue to keep it, and as a result, continue to be able to play their games. But it was one thing she said, and this has been said before, but it hits a little different with all of these changes to the brand. Now, she and her and Matt Booty, they said this. They said, quote, they will, quote, reevaluate, end of quote, the approach to exclusivity. Now, this is something that has been floating around. We've been hearing about this for a couple of weeks. And the thing is, again, all of these changes that Asha has made to the brand thus far, it really makes me sit there and really ponder about the situation of, could this really happen? What are the odds? What are the chances that this could be a reality? And the thing is, I'm sorry. If it's going to come to PlayStation at any given time, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, because Starfield took about 3 years, I don't think that's going to be enough. You're going to have to make it, even if it does happen, you're going to have to sneak it over there. You're going to have to make it take so long that it looks like it's never going to make it over there. Now, how long is that time frame? I don't know. 5 years, maybe 6 years. I don't think you can talk about it. I don't think you can say anything about it. You know, oh yeah, coming to PlayStation as well. I don't think you can mention PlayStation or Nintendo in anything that you are presenting. I think you have to make it a mute point, as it were. Make it look like it's never going to happen. I would like for it to really never happen. And as a result, I truly believe, because again, they have so many studios, so many IPs underneath their belt, that I think right now would be the perfect time for them to be able to strike. Could you imagine not having Doom, not having Fallout, not having Elder Scroll, not having, I don't know, the next Starfield, if it does become a franchise, not having Forza Horizon over on PlayStation, all of these games, maybe the sequel, if it does get one, to South of Midnight, not being on the PlayStation. I think that you have so many IPs, you could really put yourself in a situation where you could really, really turn some heads, especially now that you're talking about working on the quality, getting the quality up to snuff. Man, I just really think that if she can get some kind of control, even if they just try it for, man, put 2 or 3 years out there, man. 2, I would say 3. And I know that's asking a lot, but if you could at least 2 to 3 years, try the exclusive angle. Don't mention PlayStation. Don't mention Nintendo. Just release them on the platforms. Don't give them any shine. Now, what PlayStation and Nintendo does, well, that's on them. But shucks, maybe you could even put a clause. I don't know. You own the IP. Maybe you could put something in there that says you can't advertise it. I don't know how that would work. That might be against rules or whatever of business. I don't know. But maybe you could put something in there that says that you can't advertise our product until this time frame. Maybe that happens, but who knows? But either way, this exclusivity thing, that to me is the final piece that they are missing. If they can get, like I said, I hate to keep repeating myself, and I'm about to move on. But if they can just figure that out, man, it's a whole different deck of cards that they are playing with, and they could be dangerous. Very, very dangerous. All of those IPs, that could make for some problems. But let's go ahead, though, and let's get into, we got a couple more stories here on Xbox. We got a few more. But this one I got from The Verge. So also adding to the changes to the Xbox brand, under Asha, the Xbox logo has undergone a new look, which it looks a little more glassy, has a bit more of a glassy look to it, and is being used for some Project Helix materials as it stands right now. So here it is. She's changed the logo. The logo is in the building right now. You're seeing it on the elevators inside of Microsoft. She's changed Game Pass, lowered the price on that. She's concentrating on the console, on the brand of Xbox being at the forefront. She is, man, she seems so locked in and focused right now. And I know, man, I am just, I'm just way, way above myself right now with all of the Asha. Oh, she's this and she's that. And I mean, I know I'm being a little extra, but I got to.
Brother, this guy stinks.
Hey, listen, God dog, hold on a second. I'm just saying that she is doing all of the right things. Xbox is the brand. We are Xbox. I like this. I like it. It makes me feel like the brand is fighting again. Changing the logo. Man, she changing the logo at the end of the console generation. She's letting you know this is what it is going forward. She is in the driver's seat. And man, I'm going to tell you, man, Asha right now, hey, listen, man, she in the driver's seat and she out there driving, brother. She is grabbing a lot of road right now. She is out here driving, trying to get to the checkered flag, man. I love it. Absolutely love it, man. But look, listen, we got to move on into the next story here. We already an hour and 10 minutes in. Now, oh, man, is this the last Xbox story I have? Is this the last one? It sure the heck ain't. We got a little bit more to go. But I got this story from Insider Gaming. Now, remember Asha talked about affordability, being a factor. We've talked about that here, but her talking about the affordability being a factor with the Xbox brand. Well, now, this is the thing. According to reports, a new entry tier could be coming to Game Pass. God dog. Now, it's being called Game Pass Starter Edition, which is supposed to be announced in the near future. Now, according to leaks and reports, this tier will allow up to 10 hours of Xbox Cloud gaming, the ability to earn Xbox rewards, Discord Nitro integration, in some form or another, and over 50 games to play. Now, to be clear, Bill Kunn was the one that actually data mined this, and the 50 games look to feature a few first-party titles and some third-party titles as well. I mean, the first-party titles were okay, but you didn't have Starfield in there. You didn't have South of Midnight. That was missing. I didn't see any of the Forza titles in there. I think I saw Gears of War 4 on the list of games. So not the best outing, as it were, with the first-party support. But this is the thing. With that being the case, one of the bigger missing features on this alleged tier that has not been announced yet by Microsoft, but this tier will be missing a huge feature. Now, this feature will not affect me, but it will be missing the ability for you to play online with, that's right, I got to put an emphasis on this, with your console. That's man, that's a sacrifice. Are you willing to sacrifice online play for a cheaper price tag?
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
That's going to be the question. Are you going to say, look, now how much is this going to cost? Maybe it costs $7. Maybe this tier gets you $7. You can still play all of the games that, well, that's a bit of a overstatement, because it ain't that many. I mean, 50 is good. I saw Ori and the Will of the Wisp up in there, a couple of good games, but let's just say, look, this is all I can afford. $7, you got 50 games in there. I'm sure that eventually they'll have some coming in, some coming out. So you're going to get a new rotation of games coming in, periodically or pretty normally, pretty much at a normal clip. Would that be worth $7? You're not going to get day and date. I can pretty much, I can guarantee that ain't going to happen. Not at that tier. But for the person that may not be in the best position financially, would you be willing to pay $7 for this tier? Now, you have access to the games. You got a little bit of, you even got 10 hours of, pardon me, excuse me, you even have 10 hours of Xbox Game Cloud gaming to even try to participate in, but you won't be online. For me, that's not a big deal breaker for me. Now, what would be interesting is if you bumped it up a tier and you still didn't need online, you didn't need cloud gaming, but you would be getting maybe that 100 games, maybe double the games, more first-party titles, more access to newer games that are coming into the service, then maybe, just maybe, maybe for $10 or $12. I mean, who knows? This could go in a bevy of different positions or directions. So, again, I do love the fact that Asha is trying to meet people where they are as far as the price goes. And again, I think that that's going to be a reflection on the console when it does release. Her actually putting all of her ducks in a row, trying to let people know that, look, we're going to try to make sure that we're giving you the best product for your money. And we're not going to try to kill your pockets while we're doing it. Now, granted, that is a very, how should I say, that is a person-to-person situation. That is definitely not one-size-fits-all. Because for $800 for one person, that'd be like, man, I got that in the bank. No problem. But for somebody else, they'd be like, whoa, nah, I can't afford that. That is crazy. So you're going to need to try to have those prices be as flexible as possible. And I believe that Asha Sharma is actually showing that in the things that she's doing today. So we'll see what happens with this new alleged Xbox tier. We'll see what happens with that. The Xbox Game Pass Starter Edition tier. We'll see what happens and see if that's real or not. Because again, hey, you never know, man. Asha just might make an announcement on a random Thursday. Hey, guys, we thought about it, and yeah, that's going to be put in place today at 5 o'clock today. Enjoy yourself. We'll see, though. But let's go ahead, though, guys, and let's move into, this is the last Xbox story. It's the last one. But that's what I'm saying. All of these changes in a little over 2 months underneath her leadership. So this is the final one for the Xbox news. So I got this also from Pure Xbox. So I'm sure by now, y'all are, pretty much, hey man, listen. I'm sure y'all Xboxed out right now. Maybe not, because I'm going to put the minute marker, when this is over. So this is an option, So hopefully if you stuck around, you've been listening. Hopefully you've been enjoying, these changes that we've seen happening in real time and not taking months on top of months on top of months to be implemented. Just a little over 2 months. All of these things have happened. But let's get into this last Xbox story for this episode. But so this is the thing. It's been almost 3 years since Xbox has talked about more studio acquisitions, right? But due to the massive due to the massive leadership statement, there was some wording in there that turned a few heads because both Asha and Matt mentioned that Xbox will, and I quote, use M&A deliberately to accelerate growth where organic paths are too slow. End of quote. By the way, if you didn't know, because I just found this out myself, M&A stands for mergers. That's right. Mergers and acquisitions. Mergers and acquisitions, which means more studios. Look, listen, if we can't build this thing organically, if we're just not getting there, listen, We're going back to the drawing board, and we're going back into the market, and we're going to get what we need in order for us to succeed. That's what that says to me. Again, the quote is, Xbox will use M&A deliberately to accelerate growth where organic paths are too slow. We're not taking the long way around. We want to get there right now. Give me a jet and let me get there. I'm not getting there on this bus. This bus is way too slow. I need to get in the air and go. I don't want to deal with traffic. AK, I don't want to deal with this team doesn't know how to do this. We need this kind of IP. We need that kind of IP. We don't have time to build it. Look, you, and you. What's the price? I'm willing to buy. Let's go. I absolutely love this so doggone much. More acquisitions could be coming. Hold on, man. Let me cut that. Wait. Hold on. All right, now hold up. Wait. All right. Hold on. I might have jumped the gun because I just got a cold sweat. Oh, just thought about Activision. Y'all know when they got Activision, everything changed. All of a sudden, they're in court for 15 years, 3 years straight trying to fight this thing. All kind of things happen. I don't know, man. Listen, maybe I should look. Listen, acquisitions is great. I love it. As long as it does not hurt the brand. Maybe get some smaller developers. Hey, listen. Try to get Moon Studios. Maybe get them. They are a fantastic team. Very talented. Get them. Maybe see if MDHR is up for sale. Cuphead. Maybe try to concentrate on the smaller scale studios. I don't know if they should try to go get, of course they're not for sale. They're doing excellent. But just as an example, I don't think they should try to go out there and get Capcom. I don't think that they should try to get EA, Rockstar or the parent company Take-Two. I don't think that they should try to do that because it'll probably, that'll probably just break them. Xbox would be over. I don't know if you could come back from some kind of acquisition like that. I don't know. We already saw the ramifications of what Activision did. I think those kind of purchases, maybe not. Like I said, just slowly get yourself a couple of small studios and have them work for you. But nonetheless, I love the thinking. That they're going to accelerate the growth and they're going to get what they need to get to where they need to go. And that to me is a great sign of a leader. Look, we can't stick in this traffic. We need an easy pass. We got to be able to zoom through these tolls. We got to be there at a certain time and sitting here in the traffic lane or sitting here in traffic trying to get up to pay the toll. We're wasting minutes. We got to get up out of here. So let's just get them. They know what to do. They can fast track us to get us to where we're trying to go. I love the thinking. I absolutely do. Now, what acquisition will they get? Who knows? Listen, I don't know. But I think they should keep it small. Ubisoft, I know they're struggling right now. Man. Anyway, we'll talk about them in a bit. But yeah, that's it for the Xbox news this week. I'm gonna leave y'all alone with that. We're gonna get into everybody else inside of the gaming industry. We're gonna take a woo-sah. Take a minute. And y'all let me know. What are your thoughts, man? What do you think about what Xbox, about what Asha Sharma has done thus far? All of these different changes, all of this stuff. What are your thoughts? Do you think it's positive? Do you think it's all fluff? Do you think that it's going to lead nowhere? Or do you think that Xbox really has a chance of really mounting a comeback at the end of the day. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. I am very, very much so interested. But let's get into the next story that is not Xbox related. So I got this story from Push Square. So earlier this week, oh man, y'all know I just talked about, I jumped the gun on it, doggone. But if you didn't know, again, Insomniac posted, like I said, maybe it was around like a 2-second clip on new gameplay footage on Wolverine over on Instagram. And like I said, man, this game looks so dope. My good brother C-Jack, oh man, or the YouTube video of the podcast, that good brother said I might have to get a PlayStation 5. Shout out to you, C-Jack. I told you, brother. Come on home. Come back home. We will embrace you with open arms. Yeah, that Wolverine is looking undeniable, my good brother. But let me continue on with this Push Square article. So, at this point in time, though, Insomniac, they had told us that they would actually be showing something off in the spring, and that's when we would get an update on the game. Now, here it is. We're in spring. I mean, spring ends, May 31st. Now astronomically, it actually ends June 20th, 2026. But hey, who's counting? But since May is coming up soon in the next couple of days, people have been a little curious to know what was going on with them showing off Wolverine in the spring. And this actually stemmed from one Twitter user named O.Akinfinwa, who tweeted at Insomniac and said, and I quote, "Didn't y'all say there would be more news? News about the game in spring? Is that still happening or no?" End of quote. Where Insomniac responded by saying, and I quote, "And it was pretty short. Yup, still happening this spring." End of quote. Joker said, "Look, man, what do you want from us? It's still happening. It's going to be there. This spring, we'll be talking about it." So maybe, just maybe, we get a state of play in May to show this off. But nonetheless, at least we'll be getting something in the next few weeks, according to Insomniac. Now, the other thing that I wanted to point out, which, we'll see what happens with Wolverine. But the other thing that I wanted to point out, and this was something we had heard about quite a while ago. It's been like going on 2 years now that we have been hearing about this. And the thing was that we were hearing that that Venom was supposed to have a game releasing very, very soon. Now, we do have a little bit of information on this. So, it looks like there was a report that came out from the Miles Morales voice actor. I believe his name is Najee Jeter. He was the voice actor of Miles Morales. And he actually talked about this. Matter of fact, let him tell y'all exactly what is going on. See if I can pull that up.
And I'm gonna give y'all an exclusive. I'm gonna give y'all an exclusive. We were gonna have a Venom game. We were gonna have a Venom game and a Venom DLC, but we lost Tony Todd.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
You can't do it without him. He was so good at the whole embodiment of that character.
That's
Yeah. They show me they showed me how it was gonna start. They showed me how everything was gonna be. It was gonna be a Venom video game. Like just straight Venom, how y'all played the Venom playthrough. It was just gonna be a Venom video game.
Wow. As devastating. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. So, he said it was gonna be a full Venom video game that was going to be released, but unfortunately, the untimely demise of, Mr. Tony Todd, who, a lot of us remember as Candyman back in the day. Don't say that Joker's name 3 times and it's trouble, but, he passed away. And as a result, according to the voice actor, the Miles Morales voice actor, Mr. Najee, hopefully I'm saying your name right, brother. Pardon me if I'm not. He's saying that it was canceled, but it looks like it might not be completely true. And the only reason why I say this, and I know that sounds crazy, that a person that is in the inside, that was shown the game, that was told these things, that actually worked on the game as a pivotal, very pivotal main character in the game, is telling us that the game is not coming and it's canceled. You would think, well, that's it. It doesn't go any further than that. But Jason Schreier, his brother is reporting that this isn't true. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with this. I do believe that if the reason why was because of Mr. Tony Todd's passing, that is the reason why they're not going to do it. I can understand that, but at the same time, I also, and this is me being selfish, I can fully admit this is just me wanting a Venom game. I would say I think you could probably find somebody else. Now, I'm not saying that they are going to be able to literally replace what Mr. Todd was able to bring to the character, but this isn't a foreign concept that we haven't seen before, where certain voice actors, I believe Batman, his voice actor, what was his name? I might get it wrong, but I think it was Conroy. I think was his voice actor's name. He passed away, unfortunately, but I'm sure that when that time comes to make another Batman game, they will replace the voice actor. This is not something that we haven't seen, haven't heard before. So I think that if the game was in deep production, and let's just say, I mean, who knows what the percentage of the game was done, but if it was enough of a percentage of the game done, I would say don't scrap it. Please, let us have it, and even make sure that you maybe put some kind of how can I say, like something like as a tribute to Mr. Tony Todd inside of the game as well, some kind of Easter egg or something, to even remember him by, so I think that, Jason Schreier, he has a pretty great track record when it comes down to it. That is the only reason why I believe that it is some truth to this. Of course, who knows at the end of the day? Only Insomniac knows what's going on inside of their 4 walls. I'm sure that Wolverine is the focus right now to get that over the finish line, but hopefully they will be able to double back maybe sometime next year and show us something on Venom, but we'll see. We'll see what happens in the long run, when everything is said and done. But let's go ahead though, guys, and let's get into, this is a long show this week. Let's get into the next story that I got from Insider Gaming. So, we got a lot of Assassin's Creed info this past week. So we got to see Black Flag Remake, which that game right there, I never played Black Flag, but that game looks premium. Man, that game looks good. I might have to pick that up. I mean, that ship combat and everything that they were showing off in that game, I might have to see about that one right there. That looks pretty nice. Now, the other thing we heard this week was it was a remake. It was rumors of a remake. Now, what Assassin's Creed remake could I be talking about? Well, it was rumors that Assassin's Creed 1 Assassin's Creed 1 would be getting a remake.
Y'all killing me with this.
Are you serious? Assassin's Creed 1. Desmond? Y'all want to go back to Desmond? Listen, man, I don't know. Look, I heard, well, not I, but I believe it was, what's his name? Henderson. Can't remember his first name, the insider. He said that he heard, Tom Henderson. He said that he had heard word that, they're going to be paying attention to how Black Flag Remake actually does. And matter of fact, one of Tom Henderson's other quotes was, at least one or more Assassin's Creed game is in development as a remake, end of quote. And French insider Jonathan, who is pretty accurate when it comes to Ubisoft leaks, he's been hearing about, like I said, an Assassin's Creed 1 remake all the way back in 2023 from one of his contacts. So we got that on the table. Are y'all really going to pick up an Assassin's Creed 1 remake? I just don't know, man. I don't know. And I actually liked Assassin's Creed. I did, but I would like for Ubisoft. Listen, man, could y'all give us Where the World is Beyond Good and Evil? Where's Beyond Good and Evil 2? Where's that game at? I would much rather y'all take your resources and work on, and I know it didn't do well out the gate, but man, you had something there. Work on Star Wars Outlaws 2. I know that they kind of said that that's not going to happen because Outlaws was a pretty bad flop, unfortunately. But, I mean, do something outside of an Assassin's Creed 1 remake. Are y'all really going to buy that? I'm just curious to know. But anyway, that's not the only news that we got from them. It was also word that we got a report that 50 developers were taken off of Assassin's Creed X, which is, the next game that's coming up. And the game actually lost its original director, who was Benoit Richer, who was working on the game. And the new director who actually took over, I think his approach might be a little bit better. The thing about Benoit Richer, he was there for years, and he just pretty much just walked away. But this new director, he's trying to make the game more based in reality. He's trying to make it, quote, more grounded, end of quote, in nature. So he also did away with the companion cat that we had heard that was supposed to be inside of Assassin's Creed Hex. That cat is gone, and he wants the character to understand the science of chemicals where, for an example, she can actually make a smoke bomb, and when she throws it, it'll look like she actually disappeared, but it's not really magic. Kind of on some Batman kind of stuff, her just understanding chemicals and things of that nature. He just wanted to make the game more, like I said, more realistic, based in reality, not trying to go, I guess, the Witcher route completely, even though this game looks like that's going to be the tone of where they're going, kind of in that realm. But, again, we'll definitely see what happens with it. But, speaking of Assassin's Creed Hex, they're saying that it's actually expected to release in June of 2027. But Again, that's a rumor, and it was also pointed out it could actually release in holiday 2027. So even though they lost the director, even though 50 developers were taken off of the project, which they didn't get fired, they actually got put on something else. I'm not going to quote it verbatim, but it was something inside of Ubisoft where they take that small team and they have to whip up some new ideas, some new concepts. And once they do that, that's what they'll be working on. Once that happens, once that takes shape and it gets approved, that's the next title that Ubisoft will be working on as a whole. So it's just like a smaller team of devs that they take to, pretty much iron out new ideas, new concepts, and try to, actually put it into a working state. So, yeah, nobody got fired, just to be clear on that. But we'll definitely have to, just see how this thing shakes out in the end. I'm interested in Hex, don't get me wrong. I look forward to seeing what the art style of it is, what the lore of the character is going to be, all of that good stuff. I'm also looking forward to Black Flag remake, which I never played. And it looks great. Looks like it is a true upgrade. I'm excited about that. And that'll be coming out over the summer. So, yeah, they're doing a lot of things inside of the Ubisoft walls, but we'll have to see. This Assassin's Creed 1. I don't know why. I just don't want them to just start making remake after remake after remake. I just want some new IPs. And I understand that you can actually bring in an audience off of the first Assassin's Creed. There are always new gamers being born every day that are getting introduced for the first time to franchises. And I get that would be a reason why you would want to do it. But I would also just hope that they would also make sure that they're making new experiences as well, not necessarily just being solely focused on just Assassin's Creed. Like I said, all three of these different news stories revolve around one IP, and that's Assassin's Creed. So I'm just hoping that they'll be able to balance this out and, make sure that they're not getting too one. How can I say it? That they're not a one-trick pony. I'm hoping not. But we'll see, though. We'll see. But in quick news, and I believe we're almost done here. In quick news, I got this story from IGN. Mind's Eye. Oh, buddy. I know when I say Mind's Eye, you might cringe a little bit. But Mind's Eye has been permanently dropped. The price has dropped permanently to $35 for the standard edition and $48 for the deluxe edition. Now, they have also released an update for the game, and they have a DLC that is called Blacklisted. Now, this was actually an original collab with IO Interactive for a Hitman crossover. But those jokers, they said, nah. IO Interactive said, no, we got to walk away from that one. We don't want to be involved with y'all. Y'all got a ship that is on fire, and we can't be a part of it. So what they ended up doing, the Mind's Eye team, they ended up just releasing it on their own. Said, man, bump y'all, IO Interactive. We don't need y'all. We're going to release this on our own. Speaking of, oh man, being serious for a moment. Speaking of IO Interactive, man, we got James Bond. Well, yeah, 007, First Light coming out next month. And I got to tell y'all, I've been doing like more research on that game. And at one point I was like, I ain't no doggone way I'm picking this up. I don't want to sneak around. I don't want to do Sam Fisher. I don't want to be Snake. I want to go in there and I want to just shoot up some stuff. I did more research. Man, that game is looking promising. That thing looking good right now. I said, man, Joker said you are free to kill. I said, all right. No more sneaking around. I like this. I might have to give this game a try. I just might have to give it a shot. It looks good. And it doesn't seem like it's going to be the thing that really won me over was when I was looking at the video and they said, if you do get caught, you have a window. You got a window of opportunity to take out the enemy before they sound the alarm. I was like, okay, that's what I like to hear. Don't let it be an automatic game over. Start back from the beginning. You can't be seen because if you're seen, mission is over. I like the fact they give you a bit of a buffer in there where you make a mistake, somebody sees you, you can actually choke them out. You can actually, not shoot them. I don't think you can shoot them because then you're going to, actually have everybody else hear the gunshot. They're going to run to the location and then it might be game over. I don't know. But just the fact that you're able to make a mistake, maybe be seen and still rectify that and it not be an automatic game over. I said, yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So I think I'm going to have to pick up 007. And graphically, man, those graphics look doggone good too. That don't hurt. That don't hurt at all. But let me go ahead, man. We got 2 more stories here. This might be the longest episode we have done in a long time. So I got this story from VGC, and it is just in more quick news. So even though Universal Pictures, now they haven't announced it yet, but Forbes notes that a source, which is typically accurate with release date reveals, said that it's being reported that the Super Mario Galaxy movie will release digitally on May 5th for $25 on Prime Video. It's going to release on Fandango at home, Apple TV, etc. So remember this, though. This is truly to buy it, not to rent it. So it's not going to be on Netflix or anything like that. This is a movie that you have to buy for $25. I wouldn't get this digitally. I want it physically. I want everything physically. Matter of fact, I heard this movie was so good. I heard it was really, really good. So good that this movie, man, Nintendo got some Disney kind of magic wizardry going on right now, because did y'all know that this movie made $831.4 million? God, dog. It ain't even been out that long. $831.4 million. Crazy. Almost $1 billion in a couple of weeks. Man, that is insane. Insanity. That's amazing, man. Shout out to Nintendo. Shout out to the studio that put it together. Man, this thing looks beautiful. I hope one day, let me tell y'all something. I hope one day that Nintendo makes what the movies look like. I hope their graphics look like that for a Mario game in real time. That thing looks beautiful. Haven't seen the movie. I will buy it for sure. I want that, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Looking forward to it. But let's get into the finally we are here. The final story of the week, and I got this from Push Square. So I gotta say, you can find some cool stuff on Etsy. But I got to say this, one of the greatest things I have found is a user named 2. It's the number 2. Listen to this name. It's the number 2. Old, OLD, the number 4, gaming. 2 old 4 gaming. This guy is amazing. I'm going to tell you why. He literally sells video game manuals from whether it's God of War 2018 to Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection to as new as Pragmata in Resident Evil 9. This brother right here, Too Old for Gaming, over on Etsy, he is truly bringing back the essence of the feeling we felt when we were able to flip through pages of a manual before we even played the game, inside of the car, in the back seat. We've talked about this before, flipping through the manual, getting the background story, getting introduced to the characters before you actually put the game on. This brother right here, he has a fantastic product. Now, I want to say, I have to put this caveat out there. No, it's not licensed by Sony or Nintendo or Xbox, but you would not be able to tell. If you're a person like myself who loves physical, we talked about physical earlier. This brother had Days Gone. I'm about to buy a couple of these. I just found them last night. His quality on Etsy, again, go to this guy's page. Too Old, 4, Gaming. Too Old for Gaming. He had so many booklets. Like I said, it was so many. And when you see the quality, I don't know how this brother does it, but it's really, really great. And it's like one of those things, like if you're a collector, physical collector like me, you want that booklet. You miss that booklet. And this guy goes into the detail of the characters. He has pictures. I'm just saying, go over there and support this guy. It's like his pricing is excellent. He's pricing these things at $6. $6 for a manual. All I'm saying, I mean, I don't have any partnership with the guy, anything like that. I'm just a fan of what he is doing. What he is putting down is something I'm definitely picking up. And again, he's just giving us that nostalgic feel. I can't wait to get some of them in so I can actually talk about it. I mean, from the pictures I saw, man, they look clean. And he has like almost 2,000 reviews, and it's all 5 stars. 5 stars. So go over there if you have a physical collection and you're just missing that booklet. You want to get that old feeling back. Go over there. Check this brother out. I think that you will be very, very, very impressed. And I got to say, shout out to this brother for doing this. I appreciate this so much. I was just so happy to see it. Like I said, the selection, check them out, man. I'm not going to say too much more than that. But, oh, shucks, we got one more story. One more story, and then this is it. This is it. So this is from Insider Gaming. Now, on June 19th, UFC 6 will release, or you can get early access if you buy the Ultimate Edition on June 12th. Man, come on, EA. When you going to bring back Fight Night? Where the world is Fight Night, man? Y'all in this UFC. This UFC stuff, man. Who is buying these games? Who's buying them? Man, I thought we was going to be working on Fight Night since Undisputed came out and started doing some damage. I thought y'all wanted to be a contender, doggone it.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
This is absolutely insane that y'all keep coming up with UFC. But anyway, that is the end of the gaming news this week. As always, I want to thank you, the listener, for being here, because without y'all, the show is not worth doing. So thank y'all, and I truly, truly appreciate you being here and giving me your time. Thank you so much. So with that being said, like I said, listener feedback. Oh, I already got a few emails in the tuck. Can't wait to go over them. I'm not going to say who they're from, but they're definitely from a familiar name. You know who you are, brother. It's not C-Jack. It is not Cody Clark yet, but, hopefully they will write in. I look forward to hearing from them, and I look forward to hearing from y'all. If y'all want to be part of the next listener feedback, remember, you can do it two different ways. You can either call in at 667-284-9057 and let your voice be heard, or you can email the show. And the email address is theanalogcirclepodcast@gmail.com. So with that being said, until Sunday, when we do it again, until then, you guys take care. Be safe out there. Bye-bye.